Welcome to the Dogcast, man. Thanks for hopping on.
Hey, thanks, Log. Appreciate it. Happy to be here.
We've been chatting a little bit about some ideas, but figured we had to have one of the biggest voices in the group on the podcast to
Yeah.
broadcast some of your thoughts. I know you might be tagged as the most opinionated guy in Junkyard,
Oh, for sure. For sure. Uh,
especially when it comes to pro pickleball. But we'll see your thoughts here today on Junkyard.
yeah, yeah. Happy to share some of my thoughts. Some may be controversial, some may people may not like it, but it is what it is. That's what we are here for.
We love the controversial thoughts. So please, the more controversial, the better. But before we get into that, happy Labor Day weekend. You guys got any family plans this weekend?
No, I have a cricket game today evening, so we'll be heading out there. And my wife had a surgery yesterday, so we we're gonna lay pretty low
Yeah,
this weekend, given that we've gone to Hawaii and San Diego and other places in the last 4 weeks. So gonna stay pretty low. My mother-in-law is gonna be here on Tuesday. She's coming all the way from India, so she's gonna be here with us for 4 months. So hopefully I can get to play more pickleball. So
there we go.
yeah, so
Flying in some help with the kids. That's the
yeah,
hack.
yeah, that yeah,
There we go. Nice. And yeah, you've been a busy man traveling. I'm a little bit jealous of the trips you gotten to take, but we're glad to have you back in the
yeah,
desert here.
yeah. I got to know yesterday. I gotta go to Austin, not next week, the week after that. So I'll be missing that week. So I'll be gone all week for work. So yeah,
We'll
some tough.
see. We'll see what how your team is able to handle
Yeah,
without you.
yeah,
But a quick question I have for you, because I know you're freaking all-star cricket player. What is your preferred sport, or which one is your passion? Is it cricket or is it pickleball?
yeah. Number one is always cricket.
Number one is cricket. How long
Yeah,
have you
but
been playing?
I've been playing cricket ever since I'm like 8 years old. So I've been playing like throughout my life. I played for my university, came here, played a couple of semi-professional leagues, used to travel to LA every weekend to play some games, and then drive back the same day. So when this is like before marriage, so after marriage that doesn't happen. But yeah, and now in the fag end of a cricketing career. So pickleball's picking up, but slowly it may uh, overtake cricket within a couple of years. But the best part is, cricket, you have few friends you see, once a week or whatever, right? But the best part about Junkyard is, I don't know, I'm glad I found you guys that, we meet like every couple of days, have a good time, go back, um,
Yeah.
solid start to the day, 5 to 7 a.m. gets your adrenaline kicking in, and then you have a good rest of your day. That's what I've been doing over the past 6 months, and it's been tremendously helping. So,
Yeah, there's nothing like getting the day started off with a good sweat. I know John and I were talking about like just playing pickleball at 5 a.m. You try to get other people to come that, aren't a part of the group, and it feels like everybody thinks you're crazy.
I know. And we even did, in week one, we had two subs, right? Both of them had to come in at 5 a.m. and they kept saying that, hey, it's 5 a.m. I'm struggling. The first two games, they're like, I'm struggling. I need to wake myself up and wake myself up and wake myself up. But, that's what kind of, I was thinking. It takes quite a bit to wake up and come at 5 a.m. But, if you are, following that routine for a while now. It's like I kind of some days wake up at like 4 o'clock without even alarm. So it's like your mind is processed. So
Absolutely. Yeah, I can't I every morning at least I roll over at 4 a.m. now. Like my pickleball timer goes off
yeah,
innately every morning just because of the constant. And I don't know about you, especially on like league day, like I can't sleep, man. I roll over like ready to go, texting the group chat and sending gifts to each other. So there's something special about not just pickleball, but this group in particular, and makes it a
I
lot
know.
easier.
Like I take league very seriously, and I did not have a good day yesterday. all day. I kept telling my wife, even though she was on the bed for the surgery, and I was like, I'm not having a great day. I'm not having a great day. It's like, but it is what it is. It's all part of the life. Every day cannot go your way, but it is what it is.
Especially in pickleball, man. We've all been on the other side of one of those days, and it definitely can put a damper on your weekend,
Yeah,
and
I mean,
just
I did a decent job controlling my emotions. Like if I were
good.
Drew, all my paddles would have been in the dustbin by now. So yeah,
First zinger. Yeah, Drew. I always laugh because I'm like, but for me that like the idea of snapping a paddle that costs almost $300 is just I feel like I can already see my mom coming in and just backhanding me for breaking a paddle. But yeah, love the emotions, love what the league brings out from everybody. It's so fun even just hearing like throughout your game you'll hear, from court to court you'll hear like a big outburst of somebody going off and somebody cheering. Sin and Sin's on the injury report because of a chest bump that we had. So I won't give too much injury information away, but let's just say he found out your boy's been in the gym a little bit, getting rocked up. So but yeah, I love the emotions of the group. And speaking of emotions, it's been first 2 weeks have been fun. Definitely been some emotions on the court. I'd say last week was probably a little bit more like fireworks, but really cool finish in the Dream Breaker in one of the matches. I know there's been a lot of banter back and forth in
yeah.
the chat, but what are your overall thoughts and feelings of how the season's kicked off so far?
Yeah. There have been like some interesting performances, of course. Like I was expecting few people to have a really good start to the tournament, which which I'm surprised it didn't happen. But some who I thought will peak, as the tournament progresses, started off doing well, especially in like crunch games and stuff like that. So really interesting, right? It's a different. I always say, right? We meet on Mondays, Wednesdays. We play our duper games up and down the river, everything. But the league itself, where you are trying to win at every cost. You're trying to do different. It makes you do different things which you're not really used to do in that moment of the game. You play a little tighter, the way you want your shots to go, they don't go in. So that's something, which there in the league, which I
Yeah,
really you know enjoy, right? Even
yeah,
though some days go my way, some days don't go my way, like you kind of pump yourself every single point to kind of, go be the best version of yourself. So that's something that, I'm kind of like observing how people are doing.
yeah.
Surprising results, but yeah, we can
Yeah.
go over them. So yeah,
Yeah, it's cool. I think one of the unique components, and I was talking to somebody about this yesterday, but like one of the unique components of League is that it's the one day of the week where we're playing pickleball, not just for ourselves, right? So like you
yeah,
have a bad performance, you feel like you're letting your team down. But also on the other end of that, like when you do well, like you feel like there's like I contributed to
yeah,
group
of course,
success rather
yeah,
than and there's more eyes on it, right? More people are looking at the boxes and the box scores and trying to see how people did. So it adds another level. It's almost like a tournament environment.
yeah,
But everything builds off of itself, right? So you have to, in the back of your mind is how last week went, right? And where are we positioning ourselves for next week and things like that. So there's so much nuance to it that brings, especially for somebody who hasn't played in the league. We've had, with expanding to 8 teams now, we've had a handful of guys this season that
yeah,
not only are new to the league, but they haven't even subbed in the league before too. So heard some murmurings of people like trying to get acclimated and just the mental game of it, right? Can be an excellent player, Monday through Thursday.
yeah.
Um, hop in there on Friday and the vibes change. So it's cool to see. I'm sure we're going to see guys that maybe are struggling right now start to find their way and start to figure some things out. So it'll be cool to see how it builds. But I know that my team has struggled the first 2 weeks. You guys have had some fireworks, right? Some pretty exciting last week, but you weren't there. You were filming. And
Yeah,
this week sounds like it didn't go as well. Um, but
yeah, yeah.
you guys have I think pretty universally considered the hardest hitting team in the league. So I think at any point when those drives are dropping and those the hands are flying, I think it's nobody is. I think it was Marcus, but I was like every single team in this league can show up on any Friday and put up a
Exactly.
number.
That's the beauty of it, right? Like I know, like on paper, some team may be weak, but they can come up and go. Look, someone can go 6-0 from their team any
Yeah,
given day, right? We saw that in the last league as well, right? The same sub, Mike John Stanfield's son-in-law, right? He came
yeah,
and subbed for us for week one. He went 1-5. Then he came and subbed for Anthony's team and he went 6-0. Like, it
perfect
can
record.
change.
Yeah,
It can change overnight, right? Like that's the beauty of it. At the end of the day, when you said, last time when we always speak, you said chemistry matters, chemistry matters. Like I was like, you play with them all the time, it'll work out and stuff. But I'm slowly realizing, how important that chemistry part is. Like, we've seen my opponents, Cobra Kai, they've been, I think them and Dink Dynasty, they have been the two teams who have been consistently hitting the court every Tuesday and Thursday, trying to get reps in, trying to get acclimatized to, each other. So
yeah,
they're slowly starting to show up, especially from what I've seen against Cobra Kai, how they approached our matchup. They implemented a specific strategy very clearly, trying to get us to the net and outdink us. And that's how they kind of, won few important points, key matchups, the David and Goliath matchups, and all of that stuff. So pretty, pretty important, the chemistry part of it. But yeah,
yeah,
it's fine. We've seen Martin's team, like last year as an example, started off 0-3 or whatever, and they've come back all the way to the finals, right?
yeah,
And this time, last time it was only four teams qualifying for the playoffs, and this time it's six. So anything can happen. Even the team sitting up number one going into the playoffs cannot take any team they're playing lightly, right? Especially in the playoffs, even though they have beaten them like 16-8 or whatever it is in the league phase when it comes to the playoff time, anyone can beat anyone. Six teams
yeah.
can show up, all guns blaring, and
Oh,
they can create they can create an upset. So anything can
yeah.
happen in the league. So
It's funny, like the first 3 seasons, I felt like we would every week there was a blowout game, at least one blowout game. And there
yeah,
were fewer teams. Like every week there was, a 16-8 or I think we won our first week 20 to 4.
oh,
So every week as far as I can remember, there's blowout games. Like so far this season, that hasn't been the case, and I don't think that we're gonna have that. So like I'm excited because I think that people finally understood that chemistry component of it. People didn't draft for Duper. You saw a lot of situations where guys got picked specifically with based on how they were as a partner or how people felt like, hey, this is the style of play we want our team to have, right? We've got a few like communities that have assembled. You've got the Lifetime, right? Martin's team, they've all played together before Junkyard, and then you've got my team is got some chemistry between Marcus and Anthony and myself, as far as playing before, and so yeah, you've got little pockets of that throughout. The Red Mountain group tried to assemble all the way together, and they
yeah,
a little bit broken out, but it's cool to see how people have like, hey, they're realizing that like the highest rated duper team means nothing. It's really about, does A plus B, does the sum of the parts, or what is that? What are they? The sum of the parts greater than, I'm butchering the quote, but you know what I'm saying, right? Like
yeah,
like
yeah.
can you guys outproduce what's on paper? So
Yeah, I
uh,
mean, the best example was our team last season. We had the highest duper
yeah,
have
sure.
been. So, chemistry does
Yeah.
chemistry does matter, and
Chemistry.
and also like people who can step up, especially during pressure situations, trying to keep calm and all of that stuff. Every single thing matters in the league. So yeah, 2 weeks down to I think great weeks. Um, First week I was there watching all the teams up close. There were some nerves definitely for all the newcomers. For example, I was seeing Mark Castleton play, right? I know how he plays. I've played with him first before he came to Junkyard in the MLP nights in Pickler. He I never thought he was 54 years old. He always plays like he's some 30 to 35 years old guy, right? So
Yeah.
very consistent, great resets, great hands at the net, good at dinking cross court. So everything I saw him like have few nerves, few
Yeah.
nerves, to start off the games. I've seen him miss some shots which he never misses. You could wake him up in sleep, and he would just reset it properly. So I saw that, and he acknowledged that. He was like, first game, getting it
Yeah.
up, and then yeah. So it's all
Absolutely.
there. It's all there. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Love it. Love it. Well, now that we've got a couple games in, we've seen every team. I'm
Right.
curious on your take, maybe a player and or a team that have been a pleasant surprise or that you've been like taken back and you think are really going to make pushes, right? Maybe to be the player of the season or the team to beat kind of down the home stretch.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, just going over it. I think I think there are like two players that I know one person one person you wouldn't expect me to say that, but two players. One is Jaden. So Jaden, I think I've played him when he was trying to fill in as a sub in Anthony's team last season. He came out with a blue Selkirk paddle, the same one Anthony used to use, and had a had a really easy matchup, 11-1 and all of that stuff. Fast forward, he shows up 4 5 weeks before the league, into Pickler, right? When we did the migration from center court to Pickler, comes up, changes the paddle, moves to a Holbrook, comes up with some muscles on his body, and completely different player. He has been on an absolute tear ever since we moved to Pickler. Every Friday he used to make the podium. Now he he is the number two seed over in Eric's team. So
Yeah. We joke about him getting a W-2. He gets a W-2 from Junkyard for all the cash games he won
yeah,
leading up into the season. And then I think a lot of people like kind of raised eyebrows when Rivera drafted him with his first pick. But 2 games in, I think nobody questions that pick, right? He's been arguably, the most valuable or one of the most valuable, maybe arguably the most valuable draft pick, right? And assuming I know the guy that you're about to talk about next, but yeah, Jaden, that's probably my pick as well. And just for somebody whose game isn't flashy, he's not trying to woo anybody. He's never going to be the guy that's trying to overdo it and hit a shot that he shouldn't hit. He's just consistent. He hits every ball. He hits it just hard enough. He's always there on the counter. He doesn't overextend himself, and it shows up in the win columns because he's putting up a big number every week. So I definitely echo that, and I think Rivera, Adam is mad maybe that he let Rivera cop his guy, and maybe there's maybe an argument to be made that he would have been better off snagging Jaden as his first and
I told
seeing if
Adam
Ron.
no shade to Ron, but I felt that Ron would still be available for Adam to pick in round two if he had gone for Jade in round one.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. Just based off of like I think from the chemistry standpoint, nobody. nobody second guesses how well Adam and Ron play together. They have such a strong combination, and
Yeah,
I think Adam brings the best out of Ron, and so he's gonna be more valuable to Adam than he probably would be to other captains. Not saying that other captains wouldn't value him, but I
yeah.
do think to your point of like, hey, Jaden's on the rise. But he probably had no idea that anybody else was eyeing Jaden. So Ron's a little bit more of a known commodity. He's been around the league for longer, and but
I felt that Ron went around and told everybody that Adam was going to pick him round one. So it made decisions easier for Eric. That's what
yeah,
I think. Ron should have played the cards close to his chest, even though it's a known truth. But
yeah,
I would have thought Adam would have picked Jaden as his first pick. But
yeah. And it worked out, right? So we saw Chris Coombs slide uh, to 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 Adam
yeah,
um, in the next round, and Chris. Most people were like, has Chris been playing?" Like, sure enough, Chris comes out like after he's drafted, starts hitting his nasty spin shots, and everybody's reminded of like, okay, he's the same guy that we've seen in the league before. He hasn't fallen off, and so it worked out for Adam. But as far as assembling that, the Mountain Red Mountain Dream Team, dreams fell short there. But and then you guys ended up with one of their other guys,
yeah.
yeah, who had
Yeah,
a
I
great,
mean, as far as our team, like our team has been traveling, we haven't had a combined team session till now. From
yeah,
next week, we will have it. But man, Kyle comes out from Hawaii, comes out, he's never left, goes 5-1. He single-handedly carried our team yesterday. He was absolutely rock solid.
yeah.
Yeah, I, yeah.
Something in the he must have went to a different spot in Hawaii than you did
So he
to
went
come
to a different
out.
island. So yeah, I should find out what it was. So.
He got some of that Hawaiian spirit that he was channeling. But nice. And then who maybe you said two players. Who's the other player that's
I think
surprised you?
Lifetime Pickleball's entire season will depend on one player, how he pulls his troops through, and it's their captain. So because I mean, their team, I feel on a given day, when everyone's in the groove, like they'll do well, like last week. But when they face someone like in the first week, right? MPGA or someone who who can take away the game for you. Any other teams, right? Like if Martin is able to hold the team kind of together, they'll definitely go for a dream break, at least for a dream breaker run,
Yeah,
on a week to week basis. So, Martin holds the key for their team. So he did step up with a 6-0 performance this week. So, good on him.
yeah.
And he's crossed the 4.6 barrier on Duper. So he's excited. So hopefully that excitement will be short-lived this week. So hopefully, so we'll see how that goes. But there will be some fun trash talking moments definitely on court this week. So
Yeah.
look forward to.
Yeah. The development arc of Martin has been one to study. We'll have to get him on the pod and see what he's been focused on and how he's built his game and but I totally agree. I think one of the things that Martin does well that goes underrated is the fact that he's a player coach. So like as much as he's a dingbat and mouthing off to everybody like in the thread and outside, I think he takes to heart, like coaching people up and being mindful and giving feedback to everybody on his team. And I think he draws the best out of players. I've seen him, take guys under his wing and really get more out of them than
Yeah.
maybe they would have gotten, elsewhere. So that's, his play in and of itself is one thing, but I think his ability to really, coach up his guys is probably a bigger asset than anything coming off his paddle. So I'm with you there, and I think I want to throw out a couple players that I feel like maybe are a little bit more under the radar. Those two have both won, Dog of the Week, week 1 and 2, and I'd agree with you as far as like just definitely have outperformed kind of expectations. Um, I think two others that will be cool to follow. And maybe a team. I'll spotlight a team. I think Kitchen Crashers.
That was
Um,
my next, the third one.
yeah,
Interesting. I think so Trevor is a consistent guy. I think all their players, kind of the top three seeds, Joseph, Trevor, and Jeff Pendleton. I think you know they two of them are gonna go four wins every single week is what I kind of feel. I in no specific order, especially because how consistent they are, and
yeah,
I've seen Joseph and Jeff kind of play together. I've been Joseph and Tony kind of play together. How Joseph helps kind of Tony to walks him throughout the game, talks to him, and how he brings the best out of him. So they're an underrated team. So
yeah.
I I don't know who they're playing this week, but I because MPGA is, I mean, Adam's team is a pretty good team, right? Nothing
That's
to
a
take
really
away
good
from
team.
them. I mean, Ron can be great I mean, a week. He can be somewhat inconsistent. Maybe he didn't have the best of his days, but I'm I I'm surprised that Kitchen Crashers did come out with a win, which is
Yeah,
very good result for them, and definitely a confidence boosting one, especially with Trevor going only 2-4. So
yeah,
that's yeah,
yeah. And I think that because coming into the season, it was I think the biggest question mark because of all the personalities on that team. Like no one's super vocal. Everybody is I don't want to like more even keeled
yeah,
as far as vibes, right? Like who's going to be the rah-rah, hype guy in the group? Who's going to be like, most of them don't have like a large history of playing together. And so like, hey, what are we going to get? And the product so far has been pretty clean. But I think the cool thing and one of the and again underrated components of the league is when you get to a dream breaker, everything changes, right? Like what skill set do you have to play singles? And
yeah,
you saw a couple things, right? Like Tony and Trevor both maybe had two wins, but both of them played lights out in the singles format. And I missed, that component of having Trevor on my team of like, he's a singles demon. Like just his ability to move, his deceptiveness, his shots. Tony getting to open up the cannon and really just swing at
yeah.
stuff in
I
that format,
I think being a
makes him
lefty
dangerous.
also is a big advantage. And Tony, with how he has a very big windup. I think I had the biggest windup in Junkyard, but he definitely outdoes me. And he gets that wicked spin, especially with the Agassi paddle. So it
Yeah.
can be a big thing to kind of return. Even if you try to return it, you're gonna hit it outside. Speaking of singles players, another good singles player, Preston. No one knows
Yeah.
about him. So if you come across Preston in a Dreambaker, good luck to you. So
Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
I think he's got like a 4.5 rating in
yeah,
singles. So yeah, in my team, we played them this last week, and if we had won that last game, if Marcus and EY were able to pull off the win in that last game against John and Brad, we would
yeah.
have forced a dream breaker. But who knows? We may have been. We may have been in a rough spot to see Preston in a dream breaker. I still always got to put my money on my squad, and we got some ringers. Nobody wants to see Mac
Yeah,
in a singles
same
format
thing.
either. But yeah,
Yeah,
I
same thing. Same thing with us. Like I expected me and Ankit to win both of our games. We were up 8-2 in the David and Goliath. We lost 11-9. We were 10-10 with Jaden and Eric, and we lost 10-12. Had we won either of the games, it would have been a dream breaker. I mean, now if it would have gone to Dreambreaker, we would not have had two players, myself and Steve, because Steve had a fight at 7:50 and I had to leave for a surgery. I mean, it, but anyways, I think the better
yeah,
team won on that day. But yeah, I
yeah,
mean, interesting matchups. Like one thing I also wanted to say is every time when the league comes around, you become a different animal. You've become you've become a completely, you know, different player than what I see in during the regular weekdays and all of the stuff. Locked in, you kind of make the shots which you typically zone in, get that weird angle. So yeah,
I will say I thrive in a team format. Like I'm a team guy. I love playing with
yeah,
with the squad. So it's cool to hear that. I go from like a 3-7 to a 3-9 in league time. But yeah, I appreciate your insights here. And I think we got a lot of fun stuff to kind of look out for here. The last player I think with that the highlight of the Kitchen Crashers I was gonna say is Jeff.
yeah,
Jeff's like one of those guys that can kind of sneak up on you because he's a little quieter. He's not quiet, like he'll jab with you and joke. But when his drop to that corner is on, he starts to really set some stuff up. So we found out kind of early in our match last week of like, hey, Jeff's corner drop is on, and it proved to be the difference in a handful of games.
yeah.
Um, Also know his kid's listening, so he's growing the crew, the junkyard crew. So shout out to Jeff's
So
family. But
yeah,
Jeff was late for school drop off to win the Dream Breaker yesterday.
we're gonna meet him at his house for the Junkyard Fantasy Football Draft on Tuesday. So I think having a court in your backyard helps, I guess. The first
Yeah,
time I played Jeff was last league when he came in as a sub for Tyler's team,
yeah.
Tyler Coston. And I compared then versus now, as you said, that the fadeaway corner drop from the left hand side, he's he's gotten it dialed in. So
He's hooping. Jeff's
yeah,
hooping, man.
he got that
Um,
Anna Bright backswing to kind of push it out. So that's
yeah,
uh that's good. Yeah. We
nice.
play him week 4, so look forward to, playing them.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I appreciate you, Abhi. Thanks for hopping on here. We'll have to do another check-in and see how the league progresses. But love your thoughts, love the energy you bring to the league, and excited to see you get your get back this week and hopefully get some fun matches with your boy Martin.
Yeah, yeah. I look forward to it. It's gonna be fun. So he's gonna he's gonna try to make me mad. So I have to, stay in my senses. If I do, hopefully I'll be on the right side. So yeah,
We might
we'll
have to
see.
have a net cord. We might have to have a net cord counter just for the
Yeah,
record.
yeah. I'm gonna record the games this week, so we're gonna have a netcode counter. Who
There
gets
we
more?
go.
So
There we
yeah,
go. There we go. All right, Avi.
awesome.
Well,
Thanks,
appreciate you,
man.
brother. Have a great rest of your Labor Day weekend, and
Yeah,
we'll catch back up soon.
yeah. Talk to you soon. See ya.